Masculinity, is it toxic? Is our society thinking that it's toxic? Why is our society thinking masculinity is toxic? I don't know. I've never seen true healthy masculinity being toxic. So I don't know why that narrative would even show up in the first place. So maybe masculinity is toxic because maybe the example of what we've gotten in the marketplace is toxic. So let me break it down in 3 different areas, folks. You have what I call 3 different types of guys. You have assholes and you have beta men. But there's a sliver in there that's few and far between. And that's a masculine guy that still has a level of gentleman inside of him. I can always teach an asshole how to be a masculine man that shows up. It's so difficult to bring the beta guy to that level because that level of showing up is just so abnormal for him that he actually thinks, just like a lot of other people think, that is toxic. I actually believe that it was designed for men to identify a good candidate for his daughter to marry. You see, men are able to identify other men that know how to show up properly and correctly and healthy. It's really difficult for a woman to identify the difference between an asshole and a masculine man that's a gentleman. And that's the problem. Women that create these narratives, because mostly it's women that are creating these narratives that men are toxic or masculinity is toxic, is because they're going back and forth between an asshole and a beta, trying to find that wonderful guy. And there is such a thing. But the problem is trying to identify it. And honestly, that's one of the biggest and most challenging question I have to answer is when women ask me, what does it look like to find that guy that's a masculine man that's still a gentleman, knows how to show up? Unless I was there, unless a good, healthy man was beside her to point it out when she's around it, it'd be very difficult for the woman to identify it. So what does it look like? What does it look like for a strong, healthy, masculine man, and what it looks like to show up? Well, these men are guys that really don't really have anything to prove, right? They don't have anything to prove to no one, right? They show up and they are because that's who they are. They're a gentleman, that's who they are. But they are also not guys that are walked all over, right? They have purpose, they have direction in life, and they have usually a group of people that they support and provide for. And they don't do it for clicks or for appreciation or any of that kind of stuff. They do it because that's who they are. That's their identity, right? And chivalry is a common behavior of these type of men. And they don't do it because of trying to win you over. That's who they are. They walk on the outside of the sidewalk because they know that you feeling protected is important. They open the door not because you can't open the door yourself. They open the door because they know that when they open the door that you feel like some level of protection, cared for, and loved. That's why they open the door. When they come to the restaurant, they pull out the chair for you to sit down. Not because they don't think you could pull the chair for yourself. They do it because they want you to know that you're cared for and loved. They get up and get the jacket so you can, not because you can't get the jacket yourself, because again, they want you to cared for. And they lead you, not because you can't find your way out, because they want to know that you have a leader in your life that's going to support and protect them, right? And that whole idea of protecting, by the way, in these kind of men, isn't one where, you know, they walk around with wide shoulders and walk like a stud and they say this is how I do it. No, it's an energy. It's an energy that's transferred from them to you that you know that no matter what goes down, they got you. Now those guys are high valued men, and those guys are the prize that every woman's looking for. And they wonder why those guys aren't available. Well, quite often they're looking for a certain type of woman also, and they're looking for a high value woman. And quite often when those women find those men, they want to lock them down. So yes, is there such thing as healthy masculinity? 100%. And if there wasn't, then you wouldn't keep on looking for it. The fact that you keep on looking for it is a proof enough that it actually does exist. So what do I say to the woman? Keep looking. What I see for the men? Show up. There's a way of showing up that you can be both a masculine guy and be a gentleman, and it does not make you a beta. It does not make you a beta. And that's the lie that a lot of people live in, that showing up in those areas makes you a beta. And I'm not advocating to the assholes thinking, say, hey man, you know, if you start opening these doors and all kind of stuff, you're gonna be beta. I'm gonna say one thing about that if you start doing it in the proper way, There's no way you'll ever feel like a beta. It's only when you accept the bad attitude from women while you're doing it, do you start feeling like a beta. So that's where I'd say to watch out for. Is there allowed a bit of bitch testing in life from women? Yes. They want it checked out to see how you're going to react, right? And when they say stuff like, I don't believe what you're saying, don't argue with them. There's a difference between the beta man and the masculine man. When a woman argues with you, the beta man wants to negotiate. He wants to go halfway. When the woman wants to argue with the asshole, he argues back. When the woman wants to argue with the true masculine guy, he just listens. Doesn't say anything. It makes the last decision anyways, because he's a real man. That's how you show up, folks. All right. Hope that's a help for you guys to show how to show up, and for you women, hopefully you figure out what it is that those type of men want so you too can show up.